Friday, Friday. But you know what? It looks like they're going to have Kamala Harris as the front runner. How was that even possible? Let's talk about it. Shannon, you see that or where they went, they caught 78 known terrorists within the beginning of this year alone. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being with me. Oh, my goodness. What a crazy world we live in. Do you see how crazy all this is? Now, Joe Biden throws his name into the hat like we didn't know he wasn't going to do that, right? We knew that he was going to. We all knew he was going to, right? There was pressure. The only reason why he didn't do it sooner because they had the files show up in his garage at Chinatown. China. Right? And other places. They had the file, so they had to put that on the back burner so they couldn't really talk about it. But now he threw his name in there, but he's not going to last. Dude, my personal opinion, it's just my opinion again, he's suffering from something. He's suffering from some kind of mental capacity. Something's going on with dude. Dude needs a card to know who to call on, because other than that, he can't just take questions. Anyone got a question? Will Johnson can do that. If I don't know the answer, I don't know the answer. Now I give my opinion on something. It may not be the correct answer, but I still give my opinion on something. I will. But Joe Biden running, the Democrats don't even want him. And the Democrats don't want him. They said, okay, well, since he put his name in there are some other Democrats that are running against him, but they won't even have a debate so that people can hear what they have to say. So much for democracy. But because Joe Biden is declining, they're just going to run Kamala Harris there. How does that work? How does that work? Doesn't she have to declare that she's running for the presidency? Doesn't she have to do that? I mean, it's just like, well, you know, Featherman, he can't think for himself. He's always on the doctor's bed, hospital. He can't think for himself. He's pretty much brain dead, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just go along with it anyways. The Democrats don't care about the rules. Like I've said this before, criminals and Democrats don't play by the same rules as the good guys. They don't.
Yeah, well, just to be clear.
Prove me, Ryan.
They want to make Kamala Harris the core of the re-election bid. Not that she's running for president, but she's going to be a core of the re-election.
So what's the difference? What's the difference? Isn't that still like changing the rules in the middle of the game? Isn't it really?
They're saying that
do we have an article on it?
Yeah.
Let's pull this article up real quick.
Yeah. So this is in ABC News, and they're basically saying, like I said, they want Harris to be the core of the re-election.
What was it? What was the title on that? Biden what?
Biden looks to elevate Harris' work as core to re-election bid.
Didn't they try to elevate her on the border? Isn't she like the border czar? So we saw what happened with that. Well, we see what's happening with that.
That was a total failure. But here's the thing: they're saying that across America, what they see and what they felt like they won a lot of elections in the midterm is because of the abortion issue.
Because of the innocent child. Right.
So because of abortion issue, even Republicans don't want no abortion. They just want reasonable terms for abortion is what they're seeing in some of the legislatures and some of the polls and stuff like that. So they're going to make her basically literally her platform is abortion rights. Right? Like we have all these problems in America, but her platform is abortion rights. That's why if people are paying attention, she's been touring the country doing reproductive town halls, rallies, all on reproductive rights. But listen to this. It says there's a growing view among the White House aides that Harris's work needs to be more prominently displayed to the public to earn more recognition for her role in the administration. I know that the president sees vice president as not only a historic leader, but a true partner to him. I really do believe that she's going to be the forefront and crucial component of the re-election process. They're also saying that because there's a lot of concern over Biden's age. So it's almost like they want to say, hey, listen, he may be 86 at the end of his second term, but hey, we have this young, viable person that's doing great work under this administration and could take the presidency at any time that she needs to. But you and I both know that that is a sham, right?
It is.
They said they need her to be strong, a person familiar with the conversations inside the White House. They know she is a target and the attacks have always been intense and the ante is going to be up. So they want to make sure she is off on the best possible footing. That's why she's doing all these rallies right now.
You know what? They know that Joe Biden's not going to make it. Joe Biden's having a terrible time. And, you know, I've just looked at our Facebook page. Man, they're like, it's like bad. It's like bad. Leave me a comment. Are y'all having issues going on Facebook? Now, I know Rumble is growing. And I know YouTube, people have been complaining to me saying that they have to resubscribe to my YouTube channel every week. They're just unsubscribing people. They're not even letting people subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't even know what's going on. But I'm looking at the Facebook, and Facebook is just like really bizarre. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But anyways, let's play this first one. This was from Fox News, and it's just for content purposes, right? Listen to this on Fox News when they're talking about Kamala Harris. And of course, the whole thing about the Democrats is the whole thing about killing the most innocent of us all. The most innocent of us all. They don't care about actually taking care of people, doing for the American people. They just have their agenda. It's like kind of like what Tucker said. No, it's not kind of. It is what Tucker said. They're doing human sacrifices. And when they abort these children, that's exactly what it is.
Knew that this was going to be the ticket. And this ticket has been hugely successful. And that gets lost in all of this. So they won in 2020, the most votes collected in American history. Then in 2022, the Democrats had a far better night than anyone ever expected. And the issue that sealed the deal in terms of Democrats winning was the issue of abortion. And she was the face of rolling back of reproductive right. I know it's weird to say she was the face of abortion. No, but when there were complaints about, she got the border, which is a completely thankless portfolio to get, that she was supposed to work on the voting rights bill, which was basically dead on arrival. They said, okay, we have a female vice president. It is important to be talking about this. And she toured the country. She did some of her best interviews on this issue and how pivotal it was going to be. And Democrats overperformed. So
I don't believe that the Democrats overperformed. There's other reasons why we're in the situation that we're in. They didn't overperform. We're talking about the crime throughout the country. People, you mean to tell me that people are more concerned about taking the life of an innocent child than they are about the crimes in their city? I don't buy it. People more concerned about taking the life of the innocent child than they are the open borders? I don't buy it. People are more concerned about taking the life of the innocent child than they are about putting food on the table, putting gas in the gas tank. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. They're running on this because Fox News, of course, they're so timid about everything. They're not going to say anything against what actually happened.
I get it that it's fun to make fun of her. For you guys, not for me. But there's no indication that she's actually a drag on this ticket whatsoever, or that we would lose in 2024. The guy who's probably going to be on the other side has been indicted.
You see this? You see this? And that's how they get everybody every single time. Well, the guy on the other side has been indicted. Why would you even go for him? He's been indicted over fraudulent information, something totally fake, something totally dead. They don't care that it was dead. They just want to say, hey, look, he's been indicted. That's all that we need. They've been doing this all along. What are you going to say, Shannon?
I was just going to say, didn't it seem like that was like a very quiet interaction? Usually Judge Janine would interrupt or something like that and be like, like, hold up, shouldn't she be the face of the border or something like that? But that's not what happened. And I think that it's just interesting because I think this is going to be the new Fox News.
Yeah, I think so, because it's like the liberal agenda movement being pushed ahead. And they were saying, don't say anything against what they want because you're subject to being removed as well. I mean, but the crazy thing is people are jumping ship when it comes to Fox News. And let me say this about Fox News real quick before we move on. I was done with Fox News in 2020. I was done with them then. But the Democrats, these leftist, progressive, socialist, communists, it doesn't register in their brain. Because the reason being, because there's a lot of conservatives that did watch Fox News. And the only reason why I watched Fox News is because of Tucker. And and they knew that. They knew the reason why most people watch Fox News is because of Tucker Carlson. Now that they've removed Tucker Carlson, they're all celebrating. Now we can get Fox News to lean more demonic, have a more demonic mindset. We get them to lean that way because you notice Fox News really don't ever address these demonic issues that the left is pushing. Right? They'll talk about abortion. They'll talk about this, a little bit here and there, but they don't ever really truly address the demonic issues that the left is pushing. They'll talk about the border, right? But they don't really go into deep detail about it. Not like a lot of, journalists that are independent, like Will Johnson and a few others, they won't go into it. But that's the reason why a lot of people are moving away from Fox News and they're going to more independent journalists because they're tired of them not saying what they're seeing. It's kind of like the same thing with the church. A lot of people stop going to some certain churches because the church is not addressing the issues that's happening in our world today. Speaking about one of the issues that's happening in our world today, you remember Mayorkas when he was saying that the border is not open basically and it's secure? Remember that? Listen, if you don't remember, look at this video here. It's a really short clip with Mayorkas actually saying that.
Let me be clear. Our border is not open and will not be open after May 11th.
It's not going to be open after May 11th. How do you open something that's already open? I'm really confused by that. How do you open something that's already open? Now, if the border was closed, then he can say it's not going to be open, but it's already open. If it's not open, then why do we have all of these millions of people crossing into the country? If the border's not wide open. If the border's not wide open, then why do we have record number of fentanyl coming to the country if it's not open? Now, for those of you that are interested, I'm going to be at the Capitol in Texas tomorrow. For those of you that live in Texas, if you know someone that lives in Texas and you're not in Texas, perhaps you should give them a call and say, hey, if you can make it to the Capitol tomorrow, Saturday, show up, because people are going to show up in support of them doing the right thing on the southern border. And of course, they don't want any of this to come out. They don't want people to know about it. I think that's part of the reason why Facebook is doing my page the way they are. This is so crazy. What is Will Johnson doing or saying that's so bad? Oh, the truth. Oh, there it is. The truth. That's what he's saying. He's saying the truth, and they don't like the truth to be said. Now, you have the House Republicans actually standing up and making a difference. The House Republicans actually talked about Mayorkas. You remember Mayorkas just said that the border is not open. The border is closed, basically what he's saying, and it won't be opened up in May. Well, the border is already open. Listen to what the House Republicans say about Mayorkas when it comes to the border. Listen to this.
As I told Mayorkas, you have failed in your job. Interestingly, when he went down to the Border Patrol agents turned their backs on him because, by what they said, he turned his back on them.
Yeah. He turned his back on them. It's no secret that he turned his back on them. And of course, when I heard him say that, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. When he went down there, there was no pictures, no video of them doing that. So I can see them coming out and saying, that's not true. That didn't happen. Why does he got to lie about that? How does he benefit from lying about that? They can go down and ask Border Patrol agents who turned their back. And you know what? If any of them say, I turned my back, they'll probably try to have them removed if they didn't have them removed. And if you're a Border Patrol agent and you were removed because you turned your back on him, then I would love to talk to you. That information needs to come out. When Mayorkas went down to the southern border, you know good and well that they were not going to have or allow any conservative media outlets to be right there with him, reporting on it, talking, asking questions. They're not going to have that. They made sure that it was a controlled environment, allow the leftist liberals to come in and only show the story that they want to show. They never talked about the Border Patrol turning their back on them. And the last time I remember something like that happened was in New York City. You remember the police officers in New York City turned their back on the government officials in New York. Do y'all remember that? I'm like, dude, this is crazy. I like it. I wish more police officers throughout the country did the same thing. See, they knew if all of the police officers right now across the country turn their back on these corrupt politicians, the corrupt politicians would not have no authority. They would not have any power. They would not be able to implement their tyranny onto the American people. But you have police officers across the country that have gone woke, and some of them like, well, I don't want to lose my pension, so I have to do this. I have to do it because I don't want to lose my pension. That's exactly what we're seeing. Now, you have Blinken, stinking Blinken. Listen to what he says about the southern border. The southern border is not in any condition operating as it should be. They want the border to be wide open. What is happening on our southern border is by their design. It's by plan. It's no coincidence.
But first, I'd like to take this opportunity to put this in the context of our broader approach to migration in the region, which we'll continue to build on in the coming weeks. It's an approach focused on making migration more safe, orderly, and humane, and on advancing the interests of the American people.
How is it the interests of the American people by opening up the border and allowing everybody to come in? They're talking about orderly and humane. Basically just saying, okay, instead of having the people just bum rush the border and come across every which way they can, just let them all come through the front door. Don't even stop them. They're not trying to fix this issue. They could care less about fixing it. It's like the worst thing ever. It's the worst thing ever. We have a federal government that openly doesn't even care about the American people. They're not even hiding it. They're not even hiding the fact that they don't care about our sovereignty. They want to give our sovereignty, if you ask me, over to the United Nations. Allow the United Nations to control the United States of America, meaning that they would end up doing away with the U.S. Constitution, because the United Nations and the U.S. Constitution cannot coexist on the same continent. It's the same thing with the Constitution and socialism, communism cannot coexist. I got a frog in my throat. Okay, now, one of the things that's in the bill, what the Democrats don't like and what they don't want you to know, is this next clip that I have with the Republicans at this press conference, where they're showing the information, or they're telling everybody the information that's in this bill. What's in it? What's in it? What are they going to do? What do they want to do? They put it in this bill. And I don't know why any Democrat would be against this. Well, I know why they're against it, because it means if they do this, the Democrats will have to join in and saying that the Republicans were right about protecting the American people. They can't have that. So they're going to ignore it as much as possible.
Deliver for the American people when we did that. And there are many aspects to this bill. We took the money that hasn't been spent. We're going to build 900 miles of wall. We're going to clear cedar and Chorizo cane that's blocking the view of Border Patrol. We're going to take care of those Border Patrol agents. 17 suicides in a force of 17,000 because they're overwhelmed with this open border. Mr. Biden care? No. He didn't care. They even made fun of them and denigrated them, knowing full well that those men weren't whipping those migrants. We have the proof now, by the way.
They have the proof now. They have the proof. Isn't that interesting? because you remember, you can go ahead and take off the screen. You remember when the Border Patrol was on the horseback and it just gave that image of the Democrat Party whipping black people? Remember that? The Democrat KKK party? That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was, right? That's what that's the vision. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, look. It didn't happen. It didn't happen under President Trump, right? Right? And if it did happen on President Trump, they were like, oh my goodness, look what President Trump is doing. But because it happened on a Biden, they want to go after these Border Patrol agents trying to say that they were whipping these black Haitians. And they were never doing such a thing. Never did such a thing. And the Republicans saying we have the proof. And even after it came out that they never did that, they still don't care. They still want to go after these Border Patrol agents. Why? Because of the optics. Because of the way it looked. They didn't hit anybody with those things. Yeah. But because of the way it looked, they still want to go after them because it reminded everybody, at least it reminded me, what the Democrats used to do to black people back in the day. And it was
one way to beat down the Border Patrol, wasn't it?
Exactly.
And you know what? They never came out and apologized for it. That angers me.
They're not going to. So we have an article about some of the information on this.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go more in depth in what is in this immigration bill. The bill from the Homeland Security Committee would do this. It would resume building the wall. It would hire 22,000 border agents, appropriate $100 million in retention bonuses to agents, appropriate $110 million in grants to local police. It'll limit the use of an app that migrants use to make appointments to apply for asylum. Green said that the bill takes away money from certain areas to cover other areas. Listen to this, Will. The bill removes funds from non-governmental organizations. That's those NGOs that the government constantly sends federal funds freely to support migrants, and ends funding for the Department of Homeland Security to process migrants arriving at U.S. ports of entry. That's right. We don't want to give them money and support to stay here. It also ends the shelter service program. What the bill does do, it moves funds to expand migrant family detention, increase penalties for migration violations, increases in requirements for employment verifications, allows for expedited removal of unaccompanied migrant children unless they are a victim of trafficking or can prove credible threat to their lives. All in all, they said, we are saying this. Let's get back to the legal system.
So all of this that's listed on here, the Democrats don't like it because they're going to remove money from the NGOs. They're taking money that going to non-government entities, and they don't like it. It's the same thing about like defunding. The left shouldn't have been screaming defund the police. They should have been saying defund Planned Parenthood. That's who they should have been defunding. Because that demonic organization has nothing to do with nothing. So instead of that, but they're okay with same thing. They were okay with funding NGOs that's coercing people to make that track to the United States of America. Yeah, it's money laundering.
In the hearing that we saw this week with whistleblowers on the border, they literally were saying that NGOs are a way that the human trafficking is happening with these unaccompanied children. It's about time they get defunded.
Yeah, it is. So you have Joffrey. Listen what he says. He actually says that Joe Biden is doing a great job when it comes to the border. I'm like, what rock is this dude living under? What rock is he living under? What rock is he living under? You know, he does the sign language every time he says something, right? Every single time. So what rock? He goes, Biden has done a great job with the border. And then listen, after he says that, he's just going to kind of ramble on. He has nothing else to say because he knows he doesn't know what he's talking about. And he's just talking out the side of his neck.
Well, we have to make sure that there's order at the border, as President Biden has continued to do. I think some of the steps that have recently been indicated they will take in terms of in-process, in-country centers in order to deal with the tremendous inflow of migrants from certain countries is a responsible step.
So instead of saying, put the memo out there to these countries saying, don't come, stop where you are, don't come. They're saying, come on in, don't stop, just come on in.
Yeah, their whole plan is to try to process the people faster and more efficiently.
Yeah. So they're not even trying to try to actually make a difference. So I think we're going to run out of time here. So I want to move on to this other story because we can beat that. We can talk about that all day long. I want to talk about this other story. This is about the IRS. You remember how they were saying that the IRS, when they were going to create these 87,000 armed IRS agents, and then the outcry came about it, and then the Republicans took the House, and one of the first things they said they were going to do is get rid of these armed IRS agents. Well, they're still trying to figure out how to create these armed IRS agents to come after who? Not the rich, right? I mean, seriously, not the rich. How many IRS agents do you need to go after the rich? The rich, and then they want more money from the rich. They want more money. But not only that, they're coming after you and I. And they're talking about now was just anyone who's doing fraudulent information when it comes to taxes. Really? Why did the people flee England? Why did they start the United States of America? Did taxes have anything to do with it? Y'all should look it up. Listen to this.
Gentleman from Nebraska is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner, for being here today. I want to clarify, perhaps, there was mention earlier about special agents, especially within criminal investigation. Now, it's my understanding from a communication I received from your agency last fall that criminal investigation plans to hire 360 special agents per year over the next 5 years for an approximate net gain of 1,200 special agents, considering attrition. Is that accurate?
That sounds about right. Our Criminal Investigation Division, which deals with fraud and significant cases of tax evasion.
Correct. And those special agents are armed. Those special agents are armed. Is that correct?
They are armed. It's less than 3% of the IRS workforce.
And they avoid magnetometers at airports and things like that. So
they're law enforcement personnel.
Now, you said earlier that you're not hiring any new special agents that will be armed, but it sounds to me like you are.
Well, now listen to this. This is how they lie, right? And then say, well, I thought you were saying so-and-so, right? Listen, it's the same thing every single time.
My understanding, I'm glad you're clarifying. My understanding of the question was around audits. Our CI division, our Criminal Investigation Division, they do not conduct audits. What they do is they are investigating acute issues of fraud and tax evasion, and typically they're armed when they're putting themselves in danger.
I understood. I understand. But I think it's important to note that there is a difference. There will be new hires that will be armed, for the record. Now,
for the record, there's going to be armed IRS agents. For the record. I'm glad he said that. When he got to it. Okay. I think we are... Where are we at? I think we are at that point. I'm going to ask everyone to flip on over from YouTube and Facebook. I know we had a couple people send us some blessings on Facebook. And I noticed Madeline said, all I'm getting is dead air. Not on Rumble, though. So I guess...
Not on Rumble.
Yeah, not on Rumble.
Yeah, they're not on Rumble.
Not on Rumble?
So
is that what that means? They're not on Rumble?
Yeah.
So what does it mean? Where are they getting dead air at then? Just Facebook?
Facebook.
And I actually put a comment on Facebook asking, does anyone having any issues?
But most people say that they got a notification and everything's fine.
One, I think it was a lady named Debbie. I do apologize. I meant to say something earlier. She said she made sure she set an alarm on her mobile device and she was here.
Amen. Good idea.
Thank you. You know, she's the first person that I've ever actually said I set an alarm and actually, you know, utilize it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've seen other people say it.
You've seen it? Yeah. I'm not saying no one else has said it. She's the first one that I've seen.
Yeah, Will doesn't always look at the comments, especially
I can't look at the comments when I'm trying to do the show here, right? And I'm trying to share information. It really makes it difficult for me to.
But let's say thank you to the Facebook stars.
Okay, yes, please.
So we have Chad.
Thank you, Chad.
Mike,
Janet, Big Mike, Janet, thank you,
and Cindy.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Any super chats?
No super chats tonight.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's make this full screen, and then we're gonna give about 30 seconds, and then we'll be over on Rumble to share.
Just so you guys know,
the rest of this.
You can always donate at UniteAmericaFirst /donate.
It's UniteAmericaFirst.com.
Yeah,
/donate.
I'm sorry. I was reading. And then also you could get 10% off your purchase on anything you buy on the shop, the merch, and it is UAF10 is the coupon code.
Yes, use UAF10. UAF10. Get one of the awesome t-shirts.
Alrighty. Here we go.
Okay, we'll be over there in about 15, 20 seconds. If we don't
see you over there, God bless.
Oh, wait a minute. Go back to full screen before you end it. Let me tell y'all something about Rumble real quick. Can we? Yeah, on Rumble. Rumble is having some issues, and this is a known issue. So if you if you go like I had it, let's do split screen real quick. If you go to where this, I made this easy because a lot of people, if you just go to Rumble, it doesn't show up for you. It's like really weird. Something's going on. It's really weird, and they are aware of it and they're working through it. But if you go to rumble.com /Will Johnson /live, it'll take you directly to this video. Every single day, you can even bookmark it. It'll take you directly to the video, or you can go to uaf.media and just scroll down a little bit, and you can say it says watch on Rumble or something like that. It's actually pretty slick. Can y'all tell me? So for everyone that's ever gone to uaf.media, can you go over there and tell me what you think about it? My producer, she did a phenomenal job on it. Made it really easy. A caveman can operate it. A caveman. uaf.media. Go take a look at it while you scroll down and click on the Rumble and come over there to Rumble and leave me a comment. Say, yeah, I like it. It was really nice. It was really convenient. It's really easy to understand. So uaf.media and check it out, and I'll see you over on Rumble. Okay, let's put it back up full screen, and then we're going to go over to Rumble. Join us over there, everybody. All right, we're going to give it a couple minutes. Okay, I think